support them. That was then. This is now. We live in a very different world, a world where the sea itself is threatened in so many ways. Toxic waste, contaminants, oil spills, shipping lanes, whale hunting, overfishing, vanishing species, temperature change. The balance of life, the balance of soul is threatened. But even with these complex crises, even with our postmodern sensibilities, the whale has much to teach us if we'll let it. If we but watch, if we but listen to its song, the whale could guide us back to right relationship with nature. James William Gibson, in his wonderful book, A Re-Enchanted World, The Quest for a New Kinship with Nature, tells this true story. The fishermen of San Ignacio Lagoon in Baja California had long been taught to fear gray whales, which had earned a reputation as the fish of the devil. In the 19th century, the New England whaling ships had hunted California gray whales in the lagoon of Baja, where they wintered and gave birth. In those bloody hunts, whalers would lure and then kill the baby whales to bring their mothers close so they could then kill the mother whales. The gray whales, those mothers who were seeing their children slaughtered, fought back, smashing boats, killing sailors, and becoming known as ferocious fighters. But by 1921, the gray whales had been hunted nearly to extinction. And only after the League of Nations issued the International Agreement for the Regulation of Whaling in 1937 did the population slowly begin to increase. Still, the fishermen remained fearful of the stories of the whales that had destroyed the ships, and the whales remained fearful of the boats that had destroyed their ancestors. Then, a true story, in 1972, Francisco Pachito Mayoral, a fisherman at the San Ignacio Lagoon, broke with that tradition of fear and estrangement. A gray whale came near to Mayoral's panga, an open skiff, and he took a risk. He said, "I don't know what finally compelled me to reach out my hand. The moment I touched the whale for the first time, I felt something incredible. I lost my fear. I was amazed. It was like breaking through some kind of invisible wall, and I kept touching. That moment I compare with the moment when my first child was born. It leaves a deep impression in my heart." Pachito Mayoral's story initiated gray whale enchantment. Soon he and other local fishermen began to ferry handfuls of tourists out to meet the whales, and word spread. Hundreds of tourists began to make the pilgrimage to San Ignacio Lagoon each winter to see and try to touch the whales. And the whales that had once been hunted and who had that memory encoded in their cells and had been taught to avoid and fear the ships, those whales responded. Both adults alone and then mothers with their calves routinely approached boats to interact with humans. A quarter of a century later, today, the whales are still coming to the boats in San Ignacio Lagoon and leaving people emotionally and spiritually transformed. Dick Russell, author of Eye of the Whale, says of his contact with the whale when he looked eye to eye with one of those grays. He writes, "The look exchanged penetrates to my very depths. It feels as though I'm being read by the whale, as though my entire life for one endless moment is an open book. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul." return to who we are, return to what we are, return to where we are, born and reborn again, return to the land of our soul. Returning again to the home of our soul is what we hope to do this year in our partnership with the Whale Center of New England. The children of our congregation have offered us this opportunity. By supporting the Whale Center with their financial gift, our kids will help sustain the Whale Center's vital research on whales and all their work, education, and advocacy to protect this precious form of life. By learning more fully about whales and other sea mammals such as dolphins and sea lions, we all, children and adults, hope in some way to weave ourselves a bit more fully back into that interdependent web of all creation. By engaging in work projects such as beach cleanups, we hope to use our helping hands to bring our faith into action in the world. And by venturing out into the sea on a communal whale watch in the spring, we hope to have our spirits directly touched through an experience of awe and wonder. Something is calling. Something is calling us to the sea. There, we'll decide what matters, what's worth saving. Something is calling us to the sea. There, we have a chance to find and save our soul. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.